The little girl realized that her father was different from others. So she asked her daddy,
Daddy, did God mean for you to be like this? Or was it an accident? You're not like other daddies.
In the face of his daughter's questions, he felt very guilty and blamed himself. Instead of complaining about Daddy, she took the initiative to comfort him.
It's okay, Daddy. Nobody else's daddy ever comes to the park.
The man's name is Sam. He works in a coffee shop. He works very seriously. Because of his mental retardation, he can only do some simple chores in the shop. The day his daughter was born, Sam was so happy that he named her Lucy. But her mother did not want to live such a life. She was used to wandering, and chose to leave after giving birth to her daughter. Since then, he and his daughter have been dependent on each other. Sam was clumsy to take care of his daughter, facing a variety of milk powder. He did not know how to choose. The baby cried all night, but also left him at a loss. The neighbor who lives across the street couldn't stand it, and called to inquire about the situation and patiently taught Sam how to take care of the baby and let him feed every 2 hours. Although all this was difficult for Sam, he did his best. When he went to work, he strapped his daughter to his body and took care of her while he went to work. As Lucy slowly grew up, it became increasingly inconvenient for Sam to take her to work with him, and he had to find someone to help take care of her. So he found a good-hearted neighbor Annie. Annie originally refused, but the first time Lucy spoke, she called out Annie's name. She was moved and agreed to Sam. With the help of his neighbors and friends, Lucy grows older, becomes smarter, and more curious about the world every day.
Daddy, why does the snowflake? Daddy, fireman ball. Daddy, are ladybugs only girls, or are there boys too?
Faced with his daughter's various questions, Sam always answered her patiently. In the twinkling of an eye, when his daughter reached school age, Sam was ready to buy her a pair of shoes as a gift, only to find that there wasn't enough money when he paid. Several close friends saw it and each took out their own change to help Sam out. Sam was surrounded by the kindness of his friends, and they had the purest friendship with each other. The cashier gave them each a balloon and they were happy like a group of carefree children. Since Lucy went to school, he could no longer teach Lucy to read and learn as before. The school issued new books, many words he did not know. Smart Lucy realizes this, and in order not to embarrass her dad, Lucy takes out a book that he always reads and asks him to read it to her. Although she has heard this book many times, but as long as Dad is happy, it is good. This day, Sam was called to school by his teacher, not because of Lucy's poor grades, but because Lucy drew a very strange picture. In the painting, the daughter is holding her father's hand as if he is the one being taken care of. At the same time, after the teacher's observation, she finds that Lucy is suppressing her abilities and resisting learning new things. In the evening, Sam pulls out the textbook and orders Lucy to read it to him. Lucy tells her father, "If you can't read it, I don't want to read it." She wants to protect her dad from harm in this way. And Sam told her,
No, because it makes me happy. It makes me happy hearing you read.
Lucy then slowly begins to understand that her father wants her to get smarter and smarter so that he will be happier. Time flies. Lucy's 7th birthday is here. Sam invited friends together to hold a birthday party, want to give her a surprise. But because of the rehearsal problem, there was a quarrel with a little boy, and the boy's father accidentally pushed Sam, which was just seen by Lucy who came in the door, and the boy still kept saying,
She said you're not her real father anyway. She said she was adopted.
An embarrassed Lucy turned and ran away. Investigators from the Department of Children and Family Services witnessed this, and decided that Sam was incapable of continuing to raise the child, and took Lucy away by force. In court, the judge temporarily stripped Sam of custody and Lucy was placed in foster care. Sam lost custody of his daughter, and could only visit Lucy at set times and places. Twice a week for 2 hours each time. Sam didn't understand. He had always loved his daughter, so why did these people want to break them up? Looking at her father, Lucy was very distressed.
Did you hear that? I said I was sorry. I said I didn't want any daddy but him. Why don't you write that down?
In order to get back custody of Lucy, Sam talked with his friends and found the most famous local lawyer, Rita, through the Yellow Pages. But hiring such a lawyer requires high legal fees, which Sam simply cannot afford. Finally, it was politely refused. However, Sam did not give up. He worked hard for a raise while finding the lawyer several times and telling her the story of himself and Lucy. Finally, during a conversation, the lawyer agreed to defend him for free in order to preserve her image in the eyes of her colleagues, and Sam was happy as a child. The lawyer was responsible and took over the case, conducting a detailed investigation and deposition. But several of Sam's best friends had lower than average IQs, and their testimony was hardly admissible in court. She needed to find a witness with a college degree to give strong evidence. Sam has no choice but to enlist the help of his neighbor, Annie, who suffers from a severe social disorder and is worried that she will screw everything up. The day of the trial arrives, and the lawyer is so good that she catches the weaknesses of the defense and gets the upper hand in a few words. Anne, a neighbor, also overcame the odds and testified in court. Her testimony was simple and poignant, detailing to the court the fact that Sam had raised Lucy with care. She said that although Lucy was much smarter than Sam, it was all the result of Sam's efforts. If they are forcibly separated from father and daughter, it will be bad for Lucy instead. These words impressed everyone. Next, Sam only needs to make no mistakes in the final trial. He will have a good chance to get back Lucy's custody. But with only one day left, the lawyer, Rita, takes Sam home to practice, mocking up all the questions he might need to answer. She made Sam repeat them over and over again until he could answer them fluently. Before he left, she also gave him a suit and instructed him to dress neatly for tomorrow. The next day, Sam was all dressed up. It was a very important day. The boss also decided to give him a promotion and a raise and let him start making coffee. However, because he has been thinking about the trial, it's the first time to make coffee formally, he was anxious. Not only did he make many cups of coffee wrong, but he also accidentally spilled coffee on himself. He came to the court in a hurry, and this messy look also made his lawyer worried. Fortunately, he did not forget yesterday's practice, and he was able to answer the first few questions asked by the prosecuting attorney, until the other side noticed the anomaly, and asked the following question.
If you love your daughter as much as you say you do, and I know that you do, don't you think she deserves more?
Faced with the lawyer's questions, Sam was at a loss for words. Eventually, he admits he can't give his daughter more, loses the lawsuit, and Lucy is sent to a new foster home. As a biological father, but unable to raise his child with his own hands, Sam's life was completely destroyed. When he went to visit Lucy and saw that Lucy had a better life, he silently chose to leave, but did not know that Lucy had been waiting for him to appear. Sam locked himself in his room, and was on the verge of an emotional breakdown. Until that day, the lawyer, Rita, kicked in his door angrily, and she accused Sam of giving up on himself and not having a sense of responsibility as a man and a father. At this point, Rita's mood also broke down, and she also had her own difficulties. Because of her busy work, she has no life of her own and is busy dealing with various cases every day. Because she often worked overtime, her son gradually became estranged from her, and her husband cheated on her. She lived an exhausting life every day until she saw the relationship between Sam and her daughter, which she had always longed for. After listening to Rita's cries, Sam then realized that everyone's life is full of hardships. Sam picked himself up and Rita told him that the chances of getting custody back through the courts were slim, but he could try to communicate with the foster family and if they were willing, Sam could work with them to co-parent Lucy. He got a new job and moved to Lucy's neighborhood so that he could see her more easily. Lucy shed tears of joy when she saw her dad. Almost every night after that, she would sneak out the window and come to her dad, just to see him. After Lucy fell asleep, Sam then carried her back to her foster parents' side to avoid their worries. Such days lasted for some time. The foster mother was touched by the deep father-daughter love between them. She took the initiative to return Lucy to Sam. When Sam looked at the foster mother who left, he saw from her eyes the deep reluctance to Lucy and felt the deep love for his daughter. He invites her to help him and raise Lucy together, and the adoptive mother gladly accepts. The movie ends with a light-hearted soccer game. Lucy runs happily, not only returning to her father's side, but also gaining the love